Our next speaker is Nathaniel Metcalfe. Nathaniel has been doing stand-up since May 2007 and reached the semi-finals of the So You Think You're Funny competition after only 5 gigs. He is the only resident of Josie Long's Lost Treasures of the Black Heart Club. Please welcome Nathaniel Metcalfe.
Hello, gang. Are you all right? Yeah, it's all right. Ever since I was a little kid, I'd been a big fan of the 4'4" tall actor, Deep Roy. And some of you might be aware of Deep Roy. If you're not, he's probably most famous for playing all of the Oompa Loompas in Tim Burton's remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But I've been a big fan of him for years before that, because Deep Roy was in just about every film I watched and re-watched countless times. Deep Roy has an incredibly impressive filmography. And I know an impressive filmography does not a hero make, as anyone who's ever looked up Dexter Fletcher on the IMDb can confirm. But Deep Roy was in every film that I grew up with and watched and re-watched countless times as a child. Deep Roy is in The Never-Ending Story, he's in Return of the Jedi, he's in Flash Gordon, he's in Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, he's in The Dark Crystal. He is in so many films, often under so much, playing very small parts and often in so much heavy makeup, you'd be forgiven to wonder if he was in those films at all. So much so that I assumed, as an adult, that Deep Roy was a big star. I thought, in the very least, Deep Roy would be the kind of person that would be spending his weekends turning up at science fiction conventions around the world and being mobbed by fans. But when I was an adult, I decided I'd look up Deep Roy to see if I could find anything that he'd been up to. And I could find nothing out about Deep Roy on the internet at all. Nothing except an incomplete IMDb page. And I knew that it was incomplete because I knew of more films he'd been in than the Internet Movie Database. I went to my friend Dozzy, who builds websites, and I said to him, hey, I was just on the internet the other day, and do you know, you cannot find anything out about Deep Roy. And he said to me, who is Deep Roy? He also had no idea. But he also said that if you want there to be a Deep Roy website, then why don't you build one? So I had no technical expertise, but what I did do is, for a living at the time, I worked in a picture library that specialised in still images from movies. So what I did was, every day I'd go into work, and as well as doing my own job, I'd spend my lunch hours scanning in any pictures I could find of Deep Roy, and then send it to my mate, who would upload them onto the website. And I wrote a little introduction about all the things I knew Deep Roy had been up to, and I put it at the bottom. And because I knew that if anyone else was like me and wanted to find out about Deep Roy, there was nowhere they could go. So what I did was, I left my email at the bottom in case anyone wanted to contact me or ask me anything about Deep Roy. And these are some of the correspondence that I received. Tuesday, the 24th of February, 2004. Nathaniel, hi. I was just on the web and came across your website. It just so happens that Deep Roy is my uncle. Jackpot. Jackpot. He's actually my father's brother. He would be. It would make sense. Anyway, it's amazing you know of every single film he's been in, even his stunt jobs. Are you that big of a fan? 3 question marks, which I think is a nice way of saying, are you mad? What's really cool is that his sister, my auntie, is also a little person, even littler than him. Take care, Sonia Perber. And what followed from that initial email is that Sonia Perber would occasionally send me emails telling me the kind of things that Deep Roy had been up to. Which meant that when I received this email on the 5th of February 2004, just 2 months later, from Anton Fibes of the Tim Burton Collective website, and you will of course notice that that won't be his real name, will it? That is just the name that Vincent Price has in the film The Abominable Dr. Fibes. But I don't need to tell you guys that. Howdy, he writes. I saw your Deep Roy website and was wondering if you knew any new information about Deep Roy or any facts about him that you didn't share on your website. Did I? I replied, "Hello, Anton. I know a little. Deep's niece is a regular visitor to my website and has informed me of a couple of things. Deep Roy is just a stage name. His real name is Mohinder Purba. You'll be interested to know that he's become good friends with Tim Burton and will be in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Not sure who he's playing yet, but I'm thinking Oompa Loompa." At the time, a shot in the dark. 11th of November 2004, this one's from VK Assey, and he writes, "What's happening, Nathan? I thought I'd let you in on some inside information. Deep Roy is still alive and kicking and recently starred in Tim Burton's Big Fish as Danny DeVito's lawyer. He is currently filming his scenes as one of the Oompa Loompas," I was right, "in Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory remake. And I should know, because he's my uncle." Cheers, VK Assey. 15th of November 2004, Nathaniel. "I'm a big fan of Deep Roy as well. He's going to appear in the Tim Burton movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory as an Oompa Loompa. This is currently being filmed at Pine Wad Studios in England. Movie is going to be released on the 15th of July 2005. Watch out for Deep Roy. Regards, Raj Purba." And I thought, that's a familiar surname, isn't it? In fact, an identical one to that of Deep Roy's niece. And it was then that I started to wonder if perhaps the only people that were interested in Deep Roy were me and members of his own family. 16th of March 2005. "Hey, I just want to let you know that I'm a fan of Deep Roy too. Glad there's a site dedicated to him. I think I'll do some Deep Roy fan art now." And the fact that none of that fan art ever materialised is probably the most disappointing thing of this whole endeavour. 23rd of October 2006, from Sally Robinson. "Dear Nathaniel, the great little man is still alive and kicking and serving as a juror in an LA County courtroom. I am currently a prospective alternate juror in the same courtroom." "He posed for a picture with me today. He's a very pleasant fellow. Love, Sally." And I promise that was only a selection, but that was probably about the last email I got, because that was in 2006, as I said, and by then the Charlie and Chocolate Factory movie had been released. And now lots of people seem to be talking about Deep Roy on the internet, and lots of other fan sites started to materialise. But they had a kind of piss-takey vibe that I didn't really like. And the thing that annoyed me most is that they just ripped off the images that I'd scanned in myself. And a few months after that, Deep Roy even launched his own official website, in which he too just ripped off the images that I'd scanned in. But I didn't mind it as much when he did it. And after that, I thought there's very little reason for my website to exist at all, so he just let it drift off into web oblivion. But because, that's nice. It's sad, isn't it? It's a sad tale. But because I knew I've got to talk about Deep Roy, I would try and look him up again to see what else Deep Roy has been up to recently. And now, if you look him up on the IMDb, he has a fully comprehensive IMDb page with a trivia section. And it says that Deep Roy was paid $1 million for appearing in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I should point out, though, he did play 165 different Oompa Loompas, which if you divide it only works out at about £6,000 each, which isn't that impressive. But most impressive is that last year, Deep Roy turned up at Barack Obama's Halloween party at Barack Obama's house. I believe it's called the White House. And I like to think that perhaps some of that success had a little bit of something to do with me. It didn't. You've been delightful. Thank you for listening.